So, we talked about in video one, what is a swing? I demonstrated a swing, talked about the fact that it's a hinge, not a squat. We talked about the fact that at the top, you're gonna be in this nice, tight vertical plank. Glutes are engaged, legs are engaged, the knees are drawn up and locked out. Midsection is nice and braced, right? And then it's a hinge and explode forward with the hips. In order to learn how to do the swing, a safe way to start so you can get the mechanics down is the deadlift. So I'm going to demonstrate what a deadlift looks like for you. So if you notice, I had the kettlebell kind of out in front of me here for the deadlift, or I'm sorry, for the swing. But for the deadlift, we're going to start actually with the handle of the kettlebell right in line with my, like the knuckle of my big toe. If you want to look at it like this, so it's pretty straight down below me. What I'm going to do is I'm going to practice that hinge. So a lot of times we put our hands like in the folds of our hip. Your feet are just slightly wider than hip width, maybe about shoulder width. And your toes can be pointing forward or slightly out. You don't want them way out like this. You kind of want them like this or maybe slightly turned out. What you're going to do is you're going to practice doing that hinge. You're going to reach your arms down. Notice I am letting my knees bend, but I'm really sticking that rear straight out, really having this nice deep hinge. Now I'm going to wrap my fingers around the kettlebell, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to pretend like I'm trying to snap it in half. And what that does is that rotates the pits of my elbows forward and pulls my shoulders down into their sockets. We don't want to ever shrug. We call this the anti-shrug. So I'm going to break that kettlebell in half. That also causes my glutes to engage. I'm going to brace my midsection, and then what I'm going to do is drive hard through my heels and just stand up into that plank. And exhale sharply. So here I am, I'm in the plank, and then to lower the kettlebell, I'm just going to push my hips back. Keep that back nice and straight. Allow the knees to bend. Set it down. Let me show you from the front. So I'm going to do that nice deep hinge. Wrap my fingers around the kettlebell. Snap it in half. That rotates the pits of the elbows forward. And then I'm going to drive hard through my legs, shooting those hips forward like they're punching forward. And at the top, my glutes are going to be squeezed together nice and tight. Drive through the heels. Okay, and when I go back down, push the hips back. Let the knees bend. And that's the deadlift. So when you're practicing these on your own, it's all about the hinge. It's all about learning how to do that nice deep hinge, plank at the top, and then hinge back down. Okay? Now when you practice these, I would suggest you can start a little bit light, but you, believe it or not, can do a decent amount of weight doing a deadlift. As long as you don't bow your back is nice and flat. One drill we use before we do most kettlebell work to practice the hinge is something called the short stop drill. So you can just practice doing this. So notice I've got that nice kind of V shape. I'm bracing my midsection right here. My ribs are collapsed. It's kind of like if someone was to come along and like hit you in the stomach or give you a punch, what would you do? You'd reflexively brace that midsection. My back is nice and straight. Shoulders are down and back. I'm not hunched over. Trying to make a straight line from the crown to the tailbone. And this is your hinge. Of course, you have to reach down a little bit more to grab the kettlebell. One other thing I'll add, If you need to start out, not everyone has the flexibility in their legs to start out. You could have like a box or something to elevate the kettlebell, so instead of reaching all the way down to the ground, maybe it's like up here. Okay, so that's the deadlift. If you have any questions on that, go ahead and respond to the video post, ask away, and I'll try to answer anything you want to know. Thanks.